Hey darlings. Panos met his wife 5 years ago during a barbecue at a party. Then, starting a conversation, he immediately realized that they had direct chemistry. He thought that he would have a high chance of being such a beautiful and attractive woman. On the other hand, she thought that she would like it, as she had a strong personality on her. After a few weeks that they were together, they were not fed up with each other, and they lived a crazy passion. The time passed. They got married after 18 months of marriage. And so they moved to a big apartment while they started to collect some money to buy a house after 3 years of marriage. Things started to change. Panos noticed that he was starting disputes with his wife about small things, and he was angry when he referred to all these holidays and professional excursions that were becoming more and more frequent. But she answered that she is a part of the job, and with these they can pay the debts. As she was taking a promotion, she had no right to doubt her when he himself said that he was missing for weeks because of the job, as she had promised that she could transfer his job and reduce the hours of travel. These businesses were circular. They never found a solution. He was never suspected. For what reason? For what reason he was so lazy and worked so much? And there was a responsibility for his dignity. He delivered this, that he would be tired from work. She never looked at her phone or messages. Now Katerina started to return home after work and then go to a professional assignment for the night. This went from 1 night a week to more than 3 nights a week. Panos was not so jealous, but he could not let it go unnoticed. And he knew that there were some men in the office that he had to kill. But it seemed that she was only interested in work. But he was working with more men than women. His first suspicion of Faith appeared a month ago when one day he had stopped at the store before going home. He asked him to help her with the bags. While he was taking some bags from the back seat of his car, he noticed something red. It was exactly below from the driver's seat. It was a suit hands of his wife from the left. He understood why he was not willing, because when he is willing to do anything, he always does it first. He doesn't know exactly what all this means, but directly, a feeling was stuck in his stomach. When he saw it, he couldn't. Why was he sitting down? He was so angry. His heart was beating like crazy. When he returned to the kitchen with his bags, Katerina asked him if he was okay, and he said he looked like he had seen a ghost. He said no. No, everything is fine. He did everything he could to not look angry or dissatisfied that night and the next night. He wanted to see if he could find out if he had a relationship with someone or not. What can I say about his idea? So she decided that she should pay more attention. One Friday after work, she made a very nice dinner. She ordered the table with beautiful dishes, knives, pots. She bought a very expensive bottle of wine and a bouquet of 3-leaf clover. She entered the room with a dress after work as usual. Panos showed her the double and everything she had prepared. But Katerina, with a sad smile, told him that he could not stay as he was supposed to meet her brothers tonight. He said that he could eat even a little with him before he leaves, so as not to upset him. But first he had to go to the toilet. Then he picked up his phone while he was in the toilet and put it in the back seat so that he could identify her position through the phone. She threw the food and the flowers in the trash. She returned after her, she said, and yet her answer was that she should stop bringing him as a child. She was angry with him. Yes, but he said that he thought he would like to spend the night with me. She just smiled at him and left, angry. Panos started watching the phone and saw him stopping at the bar that he often goes to with his friends from work. So he decided to go and locate the car. Of course, he was there, in the park of the bar. He sat in the car when he arrived and waited. He felt so humiliated, as if he was chasing her. About an hour later, he sees her leaving the bar with a man. He looks like one of the thugs he had seen at work. He grabs her, pulls her close to him and kisses her. His mouth becomes a thorn. They get into another car and leave. They leave to the hotel. He keeps watching them. He sees them getting in hand. Oh my God, I saw enough. I am a fool. He started hitting with his fist. That was it. Something in him broke. When he woke up, he needed a drink. He started driving, crying, angry. He found a bar. He went in and started drinking. When the woman brought him the wine, he asked him how he was, if everything was fine, or what he thought someone took away from him, if the chips fell out of his hands. He, half smiling, said, "You could have said so." Then a man sat next to him and chatted. Panos was not very willing to talk, but with that man he felt a little more comfortable. Renas was called. He started talking. After a while, the issue of his wife's distrust left his mind. He said, "I want to leave her. I want to forget her." When he looks at him and hits him on the back and says to him, "Friend, you are not alone. This happened to me a few years ago. I believe that some of these things happen for some reason. And allow me to tell you that life may be bad now, but it will change. For the better. It depends, of course, on you." Panos was in pain, but he was trying to see things more logically. He didn't think about the next steps. He was sure. He didn't want to be next to her anymore. He had this feeling of escape or battle. He shared all these with his friend. When he told him that he understands his situation very well, he has an idea. If it is necessary and he feels that he has to leave at some point, he has a house to rent. It is not good. He needs some tidying up. Come on, if you want to see it and if you think you can stay, come on. I will make a good deal with you. I have a piece of land there to park the car. It might be good for you to get out of this situation. I am telling you this like a thought. Panos was thinking about it. He was in a hurry to go live in this old hospital to be able to put his mind in a position. So he decides to accept. He rules to be treated after days. He began to feel that there is a prospect, that he had a chance to escape from what he believed was a rapist. He was called such a wretch. It is a sure thing. There was no chance that he would ever want to be with his wife again. What a disbelief. It is something that cannot be tolerated. Panos couldn't stand it. So she went back home. After that night, she sat on the couch. Katerina came out and asked him where she was. She turned to her place and asked her where she had gone. "You know, I want to get some drinks." Then she asked me, "God, do you have a bond?" She was surprised, but doesn't lose her calm. "No, why are you asking me something like that?" She told her that she heard that she might have a relationship with someone from work. She just tells me, "You are a fool, you are drunk, you have a sense of shame." He answered that he had gone to a bar to drink with friends. He was looking at him. He wanted to ask more, but he returned to his bed. He decided to sleep in the bed, since he was now sure. He was lying to him for months. She had started to imagine this guy in bed with her. He was hurting. He was missing himself. On the other hand, she started to think about the wheelhouse that her friend offered her that night. But this made him feel better. The next morning they didn't talk much. Saturday passed as if nothing had happened. A few days later, he managed to get along with that friend. The road home was good. He had traveled with some friends during the holidays, and he was pleased. He made an offer to his friend and bought it at a very low price. She tried to convince Katerina to clear things up next week, but she was the only one who was laughing at him. But there was no proof. Sad. In the end, you decided that you wanted to leave the wedding. But instead of telling Katerina how you feel, you started taking her things to take them to the wedding hall while she was at work. He noticed that he had changed during this period, and he behaved beautifully with him. But his mind is very slow as he was controlling these small expenses after work. He decided that he needed a break as well. As he was leaving for the night, he was also sleeping at the same time. He looked at him and asked him where he was going. He simply told you that he was going to meet some friends. But he didn't know them, he said. So, it didn't make sense to say much. She said, "Okay, have a good time." Panos had begun to make more friends. He decided to measure the alcohol to avoid alcoholism. At that moment, Katerina told Panos that she had to go on a business trip next week. She asked her who they would go to, and she told him that the whole team and some of the masochists looked at her then. She told them that she wished to have a good time with her friends. From many perspectives and from many sides, she wanted to know more about her lover's partner, but as her friend told her that night at the bar, a long-term suggestion, It doesn't matter who the other is, it only matters that she decides to abandon him. She destroyed the marriage. Either she accepts it or she refuses it. She gave him time to move the rest of the things before he left. She wrote a note that said to her, "I hope you deserve the cut." She put the sword on the note and left it on the kitchen table. Panos needed some space. She had to get her out of his life as quietly and quickly as possible. He was not proud that he never faced her more, or he didn't manage to confess to her. He didn't manage. He never managed to shout, to shout, to shout. "She didn't respect what we had," she said. His future plans belonged to the present. What followed was that he didn't communicate with the lawyer. He just wanted his time. He lived in the new house. The wind was exactly what he needed. The next week he started to feel alive. He liked it. He felt wonderful. He never answered any of the messages that Katerina sent him. There were not many to answer. "Tell them that we just arrived. I have a team." The day she returned home, her phone was on fire. She sent her messages constantly. She was trying. After the first day, her mother tried to call her. But Panos never went to the phone to listen to her messages. Her messages were usually, "What is this? We have to talk. I don't know what you think you know, but nothing happens. I have no relationship with anyone. What are you saying?" After a week, as I didn't answer, he left a message. "I am sorry for the things I said. I had a relationship with someone from work, but it meant nothing. My job was to be taken care of, and you were missing. You were missing a lot." And he made a mistake. I wanted to finish it. This was the confession he was waiting for from the beginning. For some reason, but why couldn't they be honest from the first moment? Wrong. The mistakes last. For how long? 6? 8 months? 1 year? At some point, he was determined to go back, to be together again in this marriage. After a while, he stopped bothering him for a few weeks. Panos kept refusing to answer. One day, he sent him angry messages like "You are," and now that she had her confession, it's the next step. She couldn't do anything. Katerina sent her an email saying that she had received a lawsuit and filed a divorce request. That was what she replied and said to her. "Okay, that's very good." This had a result of a she agreed, and some months later Panos was truly a free man. For a few months she was thinking, as the pain was appearing from nowhere. She was thinking, either listening to a song or something to remind her of. Things are very good now. For example, you met another girl when she was running on the hill to get some fresh air. She helped you with something you needed, and they found you. She is amazing. Congratulations. Although some years younger than her. Talking to each other, he learned about his lifestyle, and she adored him. She liked him, and she had the whole idea of the wheelhouse. Everyone treats things differently. He was lucky that he did not have children, and he was just in the 3rd year of marriage, so he did the right thing for her. He left the marriage without much. And to understand someone, you don't need so many years to live with him to understand what he is. The best thing is just not to get involved and to move on with your life. And everything will be better. They will find their way, just like he found another girl and he moved on.